Hallo und willkommen zu Lonestar. Wir spielen die Excavation of Hobs Barrow. Ja, ist ganz schön schlechtes Wetter hier. Wir haben Nebel. Was sollen wir machen? Uns weiter umschauen. Den Mr. Bryden überzeugen, dass er uns doch da ausgraben lässt. Wir wollen über das Journal noch was rausfinden und über die Folklore hier. Was gibt's denn hier für Geschichten, die wir hier so erzählt werden?
There's nothing else I wish to discuss at the moment.
Okay, mit ihm wohl nicht. Dann gehen wir mal zum Bahnhof, würde ich sagen. Vielleicht sollten wir uns einen neuen Wurm holen. Ah, was da? Schild. Attention! Bewlay Station is closed for the time being due to track damage between Bewlay and Bakewell. We apologize for any inconvenience caused. Midland Railway. Aha. Die wollte ja nicht mit uns reden. Brauchen wir irgendwas aus unserer Kiste?
It's my crate of excavation tools. Perhaps I have something in here that could help me get the knife unstuck. No, there's nothing useful here.
Das ist auf jeden Fall die Katze.
It's Herbert, the local stray. I don't wish to wake him up.
Ich glaube, der schläft immer. Kann das sein? Können wir mit Wally nochmal
Hello,
reden?
Wally.
Go away! You gave the door back to my sister.
It
Ja.
wasn't very nice of you to bury her favourite toy, Wally.
I gave it to the fair folk, and you stole it back from them.
You don't really believe in fairies, do you? You're old enough to know better.
They're real, and thanks to you, I'm cursed.
There's no such thing as curses either, Wally.
Go away!
Ja, wenn man in so einem Dorf wohnt, dann ist man, glaube ich, schon verwunschen.
The road disappears over the horizon. I see nothing but moorland.
Mit wem könnten wir denn jetzt reden? Vielleicht... Haben wir hier schon mal? Ist da jetzt jemand da?
Father Roach is standing over there by the blacksmiths.
Hier ist auch keiner.
I don't need to go in there again. Mr. Long mustn't be in.
Jetzt im Schuhladen? Vermutlich auch niemand, oder?
No one here.
Wir dürfen uns ja im Wald jetzt umsehen, aber brr, was wollen wir da? Hier ist nach wie vor nichts und da wird noch zugesperrt sein.
They are still locked.
Hey, ich wollte doch eigentlich raus.
They are still locked.
Exit.
William Paxton, modest and...
Ja, ich komme immer auf den Paxton. Dabei will ich hier einfach nach rechts laufen.
A fine spot to take a rest. Margaret's Lookout, dedicated to Arthur's mother.
Ja, jetzt wissen wir ja, was hier gewesen ist. War da nicht noch The Devil's Toe?
The Devil's Toe, a local landmark.
Ja, ist nicht so interessant. Wir könnten die Schnellreise benutzen, aber... ich weiß nicht. Ah! Das war jetzt auch Schnellreise. Wenn man einen Doppelklick macht, springt sie da gleich auf die andere Seite.
It's locked.
Thomasina!
Good morning, Arthur.
You look a bit addled. Are you feeling all right?
I am not used to drinking as much as we did.
Aye, my head is pounding.
To tell you the truth, Arthur, I've had a somewhat puzzling morning.
Oh?
Someone slipped this journal under the door of my room.
Whose journal is it?
I have no idea. The text refers to some sort of excavation.
Well, Stanley must be playing tricks on you.
He swore his innocence. I thought perhaps you might have done it?
No, it wasn't me. That's for certain. Somehow I have a clear memory of last night.
Dann reden wir doch einfach mal darüber.
I wonder who left me this journal then.
Mind if I take a closer look?
Please go ahead.
The writings of a madman.
I don't disagree. Did the sketches mean anything to you?
No, not at all. But they turn me stomach. You might want to show this to Mother Mildred.
Wer ist denn das jetzt?
Who is Mother Mildred?
Some think her a witch.
A witch?
Aye. She might be able to help you with the symbols.
Where can I find her?
She lives alone in a little cottage within Herne Wood here.
Aha, da wollten
Shouldn't
wir
have
eh
too
hin.
much trouble finding her.
Thanks, Arthur.
You're welcome.
Ich hoffe, die hat nicht die kleinen Kinder gegessen, die hier unterwegs waren.
What do you make of this stone?
It's a good shape for skimming across water. What is it?
I'm not sure. It was strapped to the cover of the journal.
How mysterious.
I had a splendid time last night.
Aye. I even remember most of it this time. Thanks for listening to me going on. I really appreciate it.
The feeling is mutual. Thank you too, Arthur.
Wir schulden jetzt nur dem Wirt einen Haufen Geld.
I see the railway station is closed. What happened?
The line is down. Track damage between Bewlay and Bakewell. No trains for a day or more.
Does that mean I'm stranded here?
For the time being, Thomasina.
Capital. Why do people think Mother Mildred is a witch? Just because a woman lives alone in the woods doesn't mean she flies about on a broomstick.
There's more to it than that. They say she lays with demons.
Who are they?
Oh, you know, local folk.
Hogwash.
Some also go to her for potions and spells.
Spells? Come now, Arthur.
Truth be told, she's a nice old lady. I sometimes see her foraging in the brambles around here.
Will she burn at the stake sometime soon?
You might think us backward in Bewlay, Thomasina, but we're not that backward.
Sorry, Arthur. I only meant to tease. Goodbye.
Ta-ra!
Da ist schon wieder dieser komische Typ. Der mal seltsame Sachen.
Good day. I do enjoy the charm of a babbling beck. He's a little more handsome than your average Bewlay resident. I believe we've met.
Miss Thomasina Bateman, the famous antiquarian.
My reputation precedes me.
I can assure you it does.
And you are?
James.
James what?
Are you a painter?
You see this beck before you? Look at the water. See how it tumbles and falls. I seek one spot on which my eyes can rest, be it a stone or a small corner of the current. I meet it with my gaze, and out of the tumbling and falling, a new land rises. I see a new world.
You certainly have the eloquence of an artist. What are you painting?
A new world.
Quite the ambition.
Indeed, my ambition knows no bounds.
Can I see it?
Not yet. It's not finished. And such a world is not complete without you in it.
You flatter me, James.
Nonsense. Say you'll let me paint you.
I haven't even seen your work. What if you can't paint?
Don't fret, my dear. You shall be the shining star of my new world. When the time comes, I shall call on thee.
Sehr seltsam. Wer weiß, was der für Bilder machen will. Also, da wäre ich vorsichtig.
Do you recognize this journal?
A place to keep one's thoughts and reflect.
Is it yours?
No, my dear.
What do you make of this stone?
It looks antique. You might want to keep a hold of it.
Steine sind vermutlich immer antik. Hm?
Do you know of Hob's Barrow?
I'd like to know more about you, Thomasina. At what time do you like to rise in the morning? How do you like your tea? What makes you happy?
Tell the truth. A little flirting doesn't hurt. Lie, he's asking too many questions.
Late, with 3 spoons of sugar and spending time with my husband.
You disappoint me. I sense no truth in your words. Are you a woman of dubious principles, Thomasina?
You ask too many questions. Do you know Leonard
Eben,
Shoulder?
wir stellen die
A man
Fragen.
of Bewlay?
Yes.
I care not for the men of Bewlay. Only for the visitors.
Oder die Women.
What do you know of Lord Panswick?
A fine gentleman. Now that is someone who commands respect.
Do you know him personally?
No, I don't think anyone can really claim that. But what a tiring subject. Shall we discuss something a little more exciting?
Nee,
Goodbye.
danke.
See you soon, my dear.
He is creepy.
He's a little more handsome than your average Bewlay resident. The delicate flowers smell rather sweet.
Können wir nichts mitnehmen? Komische Kerl. Halt. Gehen wir hier lang. Schauen wir mal, ob wir die Hexe finden. Oh, wieder ein Rückblick.
Thomasina, dear, come say goodbye to your father. Come on now, don't make him wait.
I don't want to.
Aren't you going to miss me?
I hate you, Daddy.
Those are strong words for such a little lady.
I want to come with you.
We've been through this, little bird. You can't come with me this time.
But we'll go to Seaborough next month. I promise.
Oh, what a dig that shall be.
I hate you.
Well, I love you. See you soon, little bird.
Das waren dann die letzten Worte, die sie ihrem Vater mitgegeben hat. Das wird sie sehr belasten. Sollen wir vielleicht nochmal nach dem Tier da gucken?
Resin has been oozing from the stump. It looks set now.
Gibt's Harz?
I've collected some waxy resin.
Warum auch immer. Kann man immer brauchen.
I've collected this lump of waxy resin.
Oh. Habe ich einmal zu viel geklickt. The Witch.
It's the old woman I saw at Bewlay Station. They look somewhat like juniper berries.
Was ist denn Juniper Berries?
The cottage is nestled cosily in the woods.
Dann sagen wir mal
Please,
Hallo.
forgive my intrusion. Are you Mother Mildred?
Some call me that. I prefer Mildred Walker, given as that's my name.
Apologies. Thomasina Bateman. I think we met at Bewlay Station.
I take it Panswick's men have cleared off. Good riddance. Those ruffians would cut their own noses off if he asked them to. I recognised you the moment I laid eyes on you at the station.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, yeah, it's quite a striking family resemblance. You have your father's eyes, Miss Bateman.
Oh.
You knew my father?
Such piercing blue eyes he had. What a handsome young man. William.
Damals war sie
He was
vermutlich
here,
auch ein
in
bisschen
Bewlay.
handsome.
Oh, yes. A long time ago, mind. 25 years by my reckoning. But I'll never forget those eyes.
Why was my father in Bewlay?
You were helping Samuel Bryden excavate Hob's Barrow.
You must be jesting.
Do I look like I'm jesting?
How did you come to meet my father?
One might say I have a reputation in these parts. Folks from all around come to me for help with their ailments. Hernwood is abundant with flora that, if mixed correctly, will cure almost any ill. Your father must have caught wind of this, as one day he came to me, asking for a cure.
A cure for what?
Your mother was with child, and she was suffering the most terrible nausea.
Adam.
I made something to help her.
The journal. This was entered in the journal. It belongs to my father.
What journal?
Take a look at this. A passage recalls meeting a local wise woman to seek a tincture for his beloved's nausea gravidarum.
Aye, that's me. I made the tincture for him.
This is incredible.
You don't recognise your own father's handwriting?
It's been so many years since I've seen it.
Ja, haben wir vielleicht in geistiger Umnachtung das da selbst hingelegt, das ganze Zeug? Vielleicht war das ja eine Kiste drin. Da haben wir es drin gefunden. Und sie hat es dann da hingelegt.
What do you make of this stone?
I-A-W. I haven't a clue. Perhaps it's an old folk trinket, or a talisman of some kind. The moors are steeped in folklore.
What can you tell me about the excavation?
Well, not much. I only met your father twice. The last time he asked me if I knew anything about binding magic.
Binding magic.
He said he needed it for the excavation.
Hogwash. My father is a man of logic and reason. Why would he be asking about such nonsense?
Perhaps you don't know him as well as you think you do. Anyway, I know nothing of magic and told him so. He seemed disappointed. I never saw him again, but I understand the excavation went ahead. Samuel Bryden hanged himself not long after. Reason enough for you to stay well clear of that place.
Ja, dann fragen wir doch mal, ob sie da noch mehr drüber weiß, über die Ausgrabung.
You never saw my father again after the excavation?
No, I always assumed he just went home.
Who excavated Hob's Barrow alongside Samuel Bryden and my father?
From memory, it were just the two of them.
Ja, ob das wirklich sein kann. Und was hat's mit dieser Magie auf sich?
What do you think my father meant by binding magic?
I've no idea. He didn't explain more, and I didn't wish to pry.
This just doesn't sound like my father at all.
You'll have to ask him yourself.
I'm afraid my father has been incapacitated since I was a child. He cannot speak nor move.
Terrible. Oh, I'm sorry.
You said that the flora here could cure almost any ill.
Almost, my dear. But your father's affliction sounds beyond my abilities.
Wieso wollen wir was über Goblins wissen? Wegen dem Namen, oder?
The landlord of the Plough and Furrow told me about a folk tale associated with Hob's Barrow. Something about a goblin. Are you familiar with it?
No doubt there is such a tale. Name any beastie you can think of, and someone round here will have a story about it.
My thoughts precisely.
Da müssen wir also jemand anderen fragen. Es muss aber noch jemanden gegeben haben. Wer war der dritte Mann?
Charles Bryden mentioned there was a third man involved in the excavation.
Is that so? Well, you best ask him about it. He knows more than I do.
Ja, da hat er natürlich ein bisschen recht. Über den Shoulder vielleicht.
Can you tell me anything about Leonard's shoulder?
I know of him, as is the nature of such a small town. I also know he invited you here.
Little escapes you, Miss Walker.
So they say. My path rarely crosses with his. Let's put it that way. But he's a nice enough fellow.
I see. Do you know Lord Panswick?
I know his labourers make a mess of these woods, the brutes. The man himself hasn't graced me with his presence.
You've never met him?
Not since he were a wee lad. A maid brought him to me with a sore stomach. It were all the rich food they were feeding him, nowt more.
Thank you for your help, Miss Walker.
Können wir auch ein paar von den Beeren
What are those
nehmen?
berries you're picking?
An ancient breed, no good for eating. However, they do have some medicinal qualities.
I see.
Also wissen wir gar nichts drüber.
Miss Bateman,
Yes.
remember what I told you when we first met? You're better off waiting for the next train back to the city.
Why?
Something terrible happened to Samuel Bryden in that barrow. Whatever they found down there, I'd wager it got to your father too. Tell me you won't disturb Hobbs Barrow.
I can't make that promise, Mildred.
Can't say I didn't warn you. There is something unnatural about that place.
We must seek to understand the world by rational means, Miss Walker. One cannot abandon reason.
Und wieder ein Rückblick.
Thomasina! Thomasina, come here this instant.
I'm playing with Josephine.
She can wait. This is very important.
What is it, Mummy?
It's your father.
Daddy's home?
No, my dear. I must go to Bakewell with haste. Miss Bowes will look after you whilst I'm gone. Is that clear?
Where's Daddy?
He's had an accident.
What happened?
He's come off his horse.
Silly Daddy. Will he be all right?
Of course he will be fine. Your father is as strong as an ox. But I need to go collect him, all right?
Can't I come too?
No, dear. Miss Bowes will look after you.
But I want to come.
Go pick up your dolls, then come inside, all right?
Yes, Mummy. Mummy looks worried. Josephine, it's time to go inside now. Where did Mummy go?
I helped him then, and I can help him again.
Hä? Was war das jetzt? Sehr seltsam. Pinkelt der da in die Gegend?
He is staring intently into the woods.
Ah ja, Glück gehabt.
Arthur, you won't believe it. The journal belongs to my father. He was here in Bewlay. Arthur? Hello?
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to remember something.
What is it?
I'm not sure. Something in the woods. It will come back to me. You say your father were in Bewlay?
Yes. Mildred said that he helped Samuel Bryden excavate Hobbs Barrow 25 years ago.
Well, I'll be. Let's talk about it tonight at the plough.
Tell Arthur about my dream. Perhaps I could hear his perspective on it. Even B will talk later. Ich glaube nicht, dass uns jetzt was sagen kann, aber wir können es ja versuchen.
Arthur, I must tell you about the dream I had. I was at Hob's Barrow and there was a creature. It told me it saved my father from something inside and that I would find proof of this in the morning. Sure enough, when I awoke, the journal was in my room. Mildred confirmed the journal belonged to my father. The creature told me it could help my father again. I mean, it was merely a dream. I don't know what to think anymore. Arthur? Arthur, are you listening? Fine then, we'll talk later. I hope you piece together your memories.
Sehr seltsam, Arthur. Arthur! So. Hier wird ja immer noch zu sein.
It's locked.
Very locked. Was haben wir denn noch to do? Oh. Keiner da. Nanu?
Hello?
Wer war das jetzt? Ach, das war die da bei den... Hä?
Excuse me, sir.
Bei den anderen Leuten draußen
Yes?
wohnt.
Did you see a young girl with blonde hair pass by here?
No, lass. Here you are. Are you Thomasina Bateman?
Sieht auch ein bisschen creepy aus.
That's my name.
How marvellous. It's me, Leonard Shoulder.
Heavens! I'd given up on finding you.
Please take a seat, Miss Bateman. We have much to discuss.
Endlich! Mr. Shoulder!
You've proven to be quite the enigma, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm mortified. I offer you 1,000 apologies. You see, I've been bound to me bed these past few days with a terrible fever.
How dreadful. I take it you're feeling better now?
Aye. I were on me way to find you when I stopped here to catch me breath. I've not much go in me these days.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I were worried you'd have given up on me and left town.
I had no idea what had become of you, Mr. Shoulder. I spent a good amount of time pounding on your front door.
I'm embarrassed, I really am. I've been doing my best to sleep through the fever. I am so very sorry. Please accept my apology, Miss Bateman.
Fine, Mr. Shoulder. I've come all this way. Let us speak of the business at hand.
Marvellous.
I've just learned that my father was part of a previous excavation of Hob's Barrow some 25 years ago. Why didn't you mention this in your letter?
What? Where did you hear that?
I have my means.
I swear, Miss Bateman, I had no idea.
I take it you will also deny delivering me my father's journal?
I'm confused. What journal?
My father's journal was slipped under my door at the Plough and Furrow. It wasn't you who did this.
I've been bound to me bed, lass. What an extraordinary coincidence. You are following in your father's footsteps.
It would seem so, Mr. Shoulder.
Tja, also wenn man so einsam wohnt, dann vermisst er das ganze Dorf gar nicht. Wobei heute ist es ja vermutlich auch nicht anders. In einer Großstadt oder sowas kennt einen ja auch kein Mensch mehr. Wenn man da nicht Verwandte hat oder sowas, dann verschwindet man da einfach. Also ob man da jetzt Fieber hat oder einem irgendwas passiert, das wird dann erst später gemerkt.
Why did you invite me to excavate Hob's Barrow?
I've always been curious about the colourful folklore surrounding the place. My father told me all sorts of stories about it when I were a wee fellow. Stories that some folk around here take a little too seriously, especially after those lads entered the Barrow a while back.
How did you know about me?
I saw your interview in the Bakewell Times. A young lady travelling about the land, digging up barrows. Perfect for the job.
But why do you wish to excavate the barrow?
I want to see what those lads found in there. My curiosity has grown over the years. Now it is time for the mystery to be solved.
I must say I am rather eager to find out what's in there myself. I've managed to find Hob's Barrow, but Mr. Bryden is yet to give me permission to excavate.
Is that so? Keep trying. You'll relent eventually.
Perhaps you could have a word with him.
Oh, no. A lovely young lass such as yourself has a better chance of changing his mind than a shaky old goat like me.
You told me in your letter there would be no issue gaining access to the Barrow.
I didn't foresee any when I wrote to you. I'm sorry this has been more complicated than anticipated. Don't give up yet, Miss Bateman. Keep trying with Mr. Bryden.
Dann sprechen wir doch mal über unseren Vater.
Did you know my father?
I don't believe so. What's his name?
William Bateman. He was in Bewlay for at least a few days, from my understanding.
I'm sorry, lass. The name doesn't ring a bell.
Are you sure you had no idea of my father's involvement in the previous excavation?
I'm quite sure. A most fascinating coincidence, but nothing more than that.
I'm starting to wonder if it's more than mere coincidence, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman, I did not take you for a credulous individual.
I'm none of the sort.
Na. Wir können es ja einfach der Reihe durchgehen. Was weiß er denn über die
What can you tell
Ausgrabung?
me about the previous excavation of Hob's Barrow?
Oh, it were 25 years ago, or thereabout. Back then, Bewlay were undergoing a period of great strife. Samuel Bryden hadn't harvested a single crop for 2 seasons. Even Hernwood was sick. Berries went to rot almost as quickly as they grew. Folks started to believe the ground were blighted. Disease spread through the livestock too. People were going hungry, a panic set in.
That sounds terrible.
Aye, but I managed to keep myself fed. These things happen in nature, but the blame for it all fell on Hob's Barrow. It were long said that a goblin made his home there. A rumour took root that the goblin were not best pleased with the villagers. In revenge for some unperceived slight, the goblin placed a curse on the soil itself. The villagers believed that ridding the barrow of its lodger would put an end to it all.
Hogwash. My father would have paid no heed to such tales.
Whether it were his intent to join the excavation when coming here, I do not know. But whatever it were that Samuel Bryden and those lads did inside that barrow, people say it did the trick. The crop started to grow back, and health returned to the livestock. Bewlay were no longer in the grip of dark forces. You must understand, folk here are a superstitious lot. They don't want you disturbing whatever it were those lads did. As far as the villagers are concerned, the problem were fixed. The thought of another excavation must be conjuring panic that you'll undo whatever it were they did.
This does explain a lot.
And it's also why I'd venture nobody around here wants you to touch the place.
Except for you.
I want to know what's there.
Surely you don't believe these tales of goblins and curses to be true?
Not at all. However, I suspect those lads did find something in the barrow. But did it have any connection to failing crops and dying livestock? No. I can assure you there's nothing to fear. Coincidence reigns supreme.
So what do you think they found?
That is for us to discover, Miss Bateman.
Who was the third man who joined my father and Mr. Bryden on the excavation?
I'm afraid I don't know. Although I'd heard about the excavation and I were intrigued by it, I mostly stayed at home during that time. The atmosphere in the village was rather too tense for me liking. And besides, the excavation were undertaken with an air of mystery about it.
Tell me more of this folklore you mention.
It is said that Hob's Barrow is home to a goblin. Everyone in Bewlay has some version or another of this story. But the version my father told me as a child described the Barrow as a thin place. The goblin were deemed to be the guardian of this so-called thin place.
Ja, aber noch ein bisschen wenig über die Geschichte, da weiß er doch vielleicht mehr.
Tell me more about this goblin.
Some said he were a mischievous little mite, snatching newborn lambs and smashing windows with pebbles. Others said he were friendly, there to lend a helping hand in times of strife. The latter of which makes it all the more surprising as to why the previous excavation took place. My father's stories put the goblin in the mischievous category. Saxnot, he called the creature. I recall one such anecdote, that Saxnot entered Bewlay and ordered a pair of boots to be made by the cobbler. However, when collecting them, he insisted on paying for them with a bag of sow's teeth. The cobbler was so scared of angering the goblin that he accepted.
A colourful tale indeed, Mr. Shoulder. Has any explanation been offered for why this Saxnot cursed the soil?
Your guess is as good as mine, lass.
Und wieso Zähne? Sehr seltsam.
What is a thin place?
A place where one can walk between worlds, where the flesh meets the spirit world. Just superstition, of course, as you well know.
Naja, wir erzählen ihm auch mal von dem Traum, oder?
I had a peculiar dream last night. I met a creature at Hob's Barrow. I suppose you might say it was a goblin. It told me it had saved my father from trouble inside Hob's Barrow. I'll admit the coincidence of this is somewhat astounding.
A remarkable coincidence, but nothing more than that.
But there is still one thing that puzzles me. The goblin told me proof of its claims would await me in the morning. Surely enough, I awoke to find that my father's journal had appeared in my room.
Very queer indeed.
Mr. Shoulder, you invited me here, to a town I'd never heard of, only for me to discover that my own father was here 25 years before. And not only that, but that he was also embroiled in some sort of superstitious hysteria which goes against everything he ever taught me. Something is wrong here. This must be more than mere coincidence.
It's strange, I'll give you that. But please remember who you are, Miss Bateman.
Wie meint denn das?
This is my father's journal.
Incredible. Can I look inside?
You may.
Look at these drawings. Wonder what it all means.
You and I both. It all feels very out of character for my father.
I'm sure you'll find the answers beneath the soil, Miss Bateman.
What do you make of this strange stone?
A carving of a cockerel?
Yes, it was strapped to my father's journal. Do you think it could have something to do with the previous excavation?
Possibly, though I'm not aware of the motif having any meaning around these parts.
Is this your glove?
I've been looking all over for that. Where did you find it?
In the alley behind the plough and furrow on the night of my arrival. Were you there?
As I say, I've been bedbound for several days, Miss Bateman.
How odd.
Can I please have it back?
Here.
Thank you.
Seltsam.
We're peas of the same pod, Miss Bateman. I knew you wouldn't be frightened by a few old stories. It will be interesting to see what those lads found in there.
Certainly.
Thank you so very much for responding to my letter and for coming here. We have some great discoveries to make, you and I.
I sincerely hope so.
And a chance to follow in your father's footsteps. Right, time for me to shift these old bones. I'm to take me a spot of the plough and furrow. I'll be there all night should you need me assistance.
Thank you, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm sorry again for giving you the runaround. I promise I am not beyond redemption. I won't let you down again.
Ja,
See
das
you
sagen
soon.
sie alle.
I was starting to wonder if Mr. Shoulder even existed. The day was starting to test me. The word coincidence felt insufficient to explain what was happening. It was after that first conversation with Leonard's shoulder that I started entertaining thoughts of a truly irrational nature. What if my dream wasn't just a dream? What if it was all more than simple coincidence? What if that thing really could help my father? Good day, little one.
Ich hoffe, sie rennt jetzt nicht wieder weg.
Hello.
Er hat eine Geige in der Hand, oder?
What's this? A fiddle bow? There's no string. My name is Thomasina. What's yours? Don't be shy. I don't mean you any harm. What are you doing out here all alone on the moors? Do you live here? Would you like me to fix your bow so you can play your fiddle again? Yes?
Kann den nicht sprechen?
Hey! Most peculiar. Perhaps I can mend the bow for her. If memories of my childhood violin lessons serve me right, bowstring is made from animal hair coated in a waxy resin. The strings don't vibrate without it.
Wir brauchen also irgendwo ein Pferd oder sowas hier.
The bow is lacking string.
Aber ich habe, glaube ich, hier noch gar keins gesehen. Wir müssen also vermutlich wieder ins Dorf zurück. Aber ich würde sagen, das machen wir nicht mehr heute. Machen wir an dieser Stelle lieber erstmal ein kleines Päuschen. Und ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen und wir sehen uns das nächste Mal.